I'm going to break down 3 trades that the Chicago Bulls could still make this offseason, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So, in a recent article on Bleacher Report, Zach Buckley was tasked with the job of essentially coming up with different trades for each team that could still be made this offseason. And a couple of these trades are interesting. One of these trades doesn't interest me very much. I'll tell you which ones. But I just want to break down what these trades are, what they actually could do for the Chicago Bulls, and how we could see these trades possibly getting done. Now, the first trade on the table that he proposes for the Chicago Bulls is the Bulls trading Kobe White to the Dallas Mavericks and getting back Josh Green and 2 second-round picks. Now, here's the thing, right? Interesting trade. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Josh Green, kind of a struggling prospect over there. Want to see him develop his game. And AK and Billy Donovan and those guys have done a good job developing young pieces into something. So maybe there's something there that you could see that you would want Josh Green in a Bulls jersey there. But here's the big thing for me, right? I do like the 2 second-round picks that are attached on the deal because we've seen AK get good value in that second round. Now, the question on the table is going to be, is it worth it to do it? Which drafts is it going to be? Which drafts are they going to get that? What prospects do we see going there, right? And AK would probably figure out the logistics on all of that before making the trade. But I just feel like even with that, right, it almost is better just to let the contract of Kobe White possibly expire there, right? Because at a minimum, we know that there's some upside in Kobe White. There's some upside in having Kobe White, and that there's some upside in Kobe White possibly, right, if he plays better. There's going to be a certain level of trade value that's going to increase. And if he plays the same, we know that the NBA is definitely interested in Kobe White. So you could get a sign and trade deal done, maybe not getting back what you felt like you were going to get. But at a minimum, right, if Kobe White has the same type of season that he had this year, we know that that value is there. So I would probably pass on this first proposed trade. I don't feel like this is a deal that puts the Bulls in a better situation at any point, right? Like, this is a future move, right? And you're looking for guys that can help the team right now. This isn't the deal for me, so I would say no to this deal. Now, before I continue with the video, I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below on all of these trades. How would you guys feel about the trades? And help grow the channel by dropping a comment, letting me know your feelings on these trades. The first trade and each one of them, you know, drop a Y for yes, drop an N for no on each trade. Let me know. Now, the second proposed trade here is Terrence Ross and a second-round pick to the Chicago Bulls for Kobe White and Tony Bradley. Now, here's another interesting deal, right, as you look at it, because on paper, right, Terrence Ross seems like the kind of guy that you would want to get in a Bulls uniform. He's been a vet. He's been a nice player. He's had some nice scoring outputs for the Orlando Magic and in his Toronto Raptor days as well. But the 31-year-old's on a little bit of a decline. Now, the second-round pick in this situation is interesting because if you can get some upside with Terrence Ross as a bench guard, replacing essentially what Kobe White gave you, and you're able to get a second-round pick out of it, you feel like you gain something if that second-round pick can turn into a better player in that situation. But I think this is another situation where I'd almost rather hold on to Kobe White here, right? Because to me, I'm looking at this as, okay, yeah, Terrence Ross, while he had those great moments, he has been a little bit on the decline, especially last season, right? Only scored 10 points a game. His field goal percentage was abysmal last season, 39%. He shot 29% from beyond the arc, had a defensive rating of 115. If I wanted to bring in a player that was going to help the team win right now, I feel like a Kobe White is in more of a position to do that than Terrence Ross is. Again, this is a futures move to me. Terrence Ross, Terrence Ross is going to contribute to the Bulls, right? But it's going to be in an offensive format. Maybe it's a little bit of what Kobe White couldn't do, and maybe you're betting on the fact that if you bring him into a winning situation instead of the Toronto Raptors situation where it was abysmal the entire season, right, that maybe Terrence Ross gets an uptick in play. Maybe he gets a little bit of resurgence. He's a little more he's a little more engaged offensively, and you get a little bit more of that older Terrence Ross that we've seen in the past. But I just don't feel like that's going to be the situation that he's in right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, would I be over the moon upset if a deal like this got done? Nah, I wouldn't, because you know what? Like, I can see that Kobe White's very shaky up and down. I can see Terrence Ross could be very shaky up and down. And I got a second-round pick out of it instead of Tony Bradley on my bench. I wouldn't trip on it one way or the other, but to me, I think you're almost in a better situation just holding on to Kobe White with this second trade. And so to me, I would probably say no to this deal as well, but I wouldn't be like, I can't believe the Bulls just did this if they made this deal. Number 3 on the proposed trades that Bleacher Report dropped, and this one is probably the one that I'm most excited about and that I would absolutely love to see the Chicago Bulls get done. Now, there is a caveat to it, right? You'd have to figure out your big man position again, that backup big. We've been kind of the same role again, but the Bulls would get Josh Richardson in a deal that would send Kobe White and Marko Simonovic over to the San Antonio Spurs, essentially putting the Spurs in a position that they kind of want to be in, depending on if they want to tank or not, but putting the Spurs in a position with young talent, putting the Spurs in a position where you've got a young big that you're hoping to work out well next to Jakob Poeltl. They're still holding on to Jakob Poeltl in this situation. We get Josh Richardson to the Bulls. Josh Richardson, a player that absolutely can help the Chicago Bulls right now. Shot 41% from deep last season. Absolutely addresses an issue that the Chicago Bulls had and was a strong defensive player for them. Had great fundamentals on that bench for them, and could be a player that you could see, you know, spend some time as a 4 on this team. You wouldn't want him to be, maybe you'd want him to be the 3, right? But you could see him play the guard, or you could see him play the 3 or the 4. I wouldn't be surprised by either of that, because Josh Richardson is an excellent defender, and I feel like he would be an excellent player for Chicago Bulls to get back in a Kobe White deal. To me, Josh Richardson coming in a little over 10 points a game, probably about 11 points a game. Not going to do very much for you in the rebounding matchup, right? But you've also got Andre Drummond on that bench, so I think you could kind of finagle some things where you can still like that matchup coming off your, or like that pairing coming off of your bench, but you know he's going to be able to shoot. Shot at 41%, like I said, from the 3-point line last year, and while he was with the Spurs, actually upped that to about 44% from the field. But I feel like Josh Richardson would be a really nice piece for the Chicago Bulls to get back. Now listen, I would rather have a Devin Vassell. I send you Kobe, you send me some upside, but I'm assuming they're going to hold on to a Devin Vassell in that situation, so I wouldn't be mad at a Josh Richardson. This is probably the only deal on here that I would actually say it's worth moving Kobe White for. But like I said, I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you like any of these trades? Do you feel like any of these trades do anything for you or for the Chicago Bulls heading into next season? I feel like the third deal does the most for you. Everything other than that is a future deal, and unless you're going to find a player in that second round that's going to make an impact right now, which the Bulls have actually done a pretty good job at, so you could make an argument for it. But that would be the only one, going and just getting Josh Richardson straight up, adding him to a roster of DeMar, and you're putting him on the bench with Ayo and Caruso and Drummond. I would love that right off the bat. But like I said, I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bulls content. Click the links on the screen and check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.